at least once. Good, yes, everybody, good. So what my goal was when I started programming that is I wanted to do it weekly, either the snatch or the clean, and I wanted to try and teach some theory behind the movements so that each piece of the movement has its own intention and its own corrective purposes if needed. And ideally from that, you can have a look at someone's snatch or watch your own snatch if you video it or otherwise, and you can see what kind of deficiencies you might have, and you might be able to think of a drill that you can do to correct that. So I'm not going to make you go as that far to try and decipher all of that today, but what I am going to do is a little bit of a challenge where we're going to do one of the movements that we've been doing, muscle snatch or other ones, and you're going to write on the piece of paper what part of the snatch you think that can help with or is designed to help with. And for every one of you that gets it right, I'm going to do that many push-ups. Okay? That's the deal. So how many have we got in here now? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 people. Holy shit, that could be a lot of push-ups. Maybe I don't. Maybe I hope you haven't been paying attention yet. So I'm going to limit it at 10. If 10 people get it, I'll do 10 because there is a bunch of movements. So otherwise, we are going to start off, and I'm going to try and pick the people who've been the most consistent that I've seen come through these things. A lot of you guys here. Sarah, you get to choose first. Write a movement on the paper and then hold it up to the screen. Everybody else should be writing a movement on the paper as well. If you'd like to. Hold it up close, real close. Jumping jacks. Okay, 10 jumping jacks once you've written down your movement. If I call out your name, you hold your paper up there. If you don't have something written, we'll wait for you. Mute yourself if you haven't yet. Mario, Alan. 10 jumping jacks. Okay, Alan, you go next while you're muting yourself there. Give me another movement. What does that say?
Cars.
Cars. Do people know what shoulder cars are? So if you don't know what shoulder cars are, have a look at me. I'm just going to run you through one real quick. Arm up, palm down, out to the side. Oh, hang on, I got to pop up. Damn it. Out to the side, turn, and then we're going to go back up. Turn, palm out, down. There's a bunch of different ones. This is the one that I do the most. And up, turn, palm out, hold the platter, arm down, turn the shoulder, and up. Let's switch sides. Hold the platter, straight down, engage your shoulder, turn the shoulder as you turn, and back up. Platter, down, turn, up. One more time. Platter, down, turn, and back up. All right, Sam, you're going next. Squats, 10 squats. Good. Think about even weight in the feet, not too much in the knees, keeping the hips. Victoria, you're next. She's writing something down. I'll call it out. Hold it real close. Glute bridges. Look at that fancy cursive too. 10 glute bridges, please. Oh yeah. Leah yells in the background, she's a teacher. 10 glute bridges. Think about the hamstring, core. Don't rock up onto your shoulder blades here. I don't want you onto your shoulders. Just the hips come up. DC, you're next. What's he got on there? Scap push-ups. So if you don't know how to do a scap push-up, you go into a push-up position, and then you sink your shoulder blades together, and then you push with your hands and you try and push your shoulder blades apart as far as possible. Sink them together and then push them apart. Try to keep the elbows locked if you can. It's all shoulder here. Sink, and then extend, open those shoulder blades. Good. Is Russell with you today, Vanessa? I only saw Vanessa in there. Are you both there? Okay, you guys get one pick between the two of you. Hold the paper up. Slow burpees, slow burpees. Okay, so I'm gonna count them off then, okay? So what I'm really looking for here is one really good breath where you extend the chest and open up the ribs before you do the burpee, okay? So big breath in and burpee. Exhaling on the way up. Big breath in, burpee. Breathing out after you push. Big breath in, open the lungs, burpee. Big breath in and down. Now on your feet. Now I'm going to count out the movements. So it is hands down, feet back, push up, hinge up, flat feet, stand, jump. What I want you to try and do when I call you to bring your feet back towards your hands, I want it to be a hinge, not a squat, okay? So it is hands down, reach for the ground, feet out, hold that plank, push up, pop back up, feet nice and flat, and jump. One more, hands down, feet out, push up, pop, and up. Good. Yako, what do you got? Hold it close, a little higher to the right. Bird dogs. Okay, hands and knees, people, hands and knees. Think about engaging your torso through this. Think about keeping your core and pelvis nice and tight. 10 bird dogs, one hand goes out. Yeah, everyone knows what this is. Good. Keep your back nice and flat. I want you to imagine that there's a set of dishes on your back and you don't want them to make any noise at all when you clink. Some fine china sitting on your back while you do these. Little glute squeeze at the end, but keep the hips down. No peeing dogs, only bird dogs. Good. Natalie, you're up. Real close. You got to get closer. I can't read it. Keep coming. Keep coming. What does it say? Arm circles? Does that say arm circles? All right. 10 forward and 10 back. I want good tempo on these. 10 forward and 10 back. Now hold them straight out. Small circles. Drill. Flex the arms here. Flex. We're going to do it till it sucks. Backwards. Forwards. Backwards. Good. Karina. Hollow rocks. 10 hollow rocks. Focusing on the pelvis. Make sure that the pelvis is tilted up. The bottom of your hips, the bottom of your pelvis should be tilted up to give you that nice round back. Well, you guys are getting good at hollow rocks. Shirley, what do you got? A little higher, and a little closer. Now move it to the side a bit. Other way. What does that say? Does that say windmill?
Yes.
Windmills? Okay, windmills. Everybody know how to do a windmill? So if it's the one I'm thinking of, feet double wide and up. Good. All right, we got time for 2 more. Brendan. If I don't get to yours today, I'll get to it tomorrow. Forward lean shoulder taps. Okay, down to a FLR plank. And we're going to do 20 taps left and right. Go ahead. All right. Doc, you're going to be the last one we do. I'll get you to mute your mic too. Hold it close. Lunges. 10 lunges. Think about your knee position on those lunges. Make sure it's not caving in. Good. After you've done that, please grab your stick. Grab your dowel. Barbell should be right across your hip bones from hip bone to hip bone. Feet should be underneath your hips, toes slightly pointed out. And the first movement we're going to do is just going to be down and up. I'm going to dip and then stand. If you've done this one already, you can practice it now. Dip, stand, dip, stand, down and up. Give me 10 down and ups, please. It is important that the barbell stays in the hip crease while you do these. And you're not leaning forward. You're just going straight down and straight up. You can add a shoulder shrug in there if you like. And then bring your stick down and grab your pen and paper, because this is one of the ones I want to quiz today. All right, so the question is, when I prescribe that movement to somebody, what joint am I trying to correct the motion of? Okay, that means that they have a joint that I don't like the way that that joint's moving, and when I give them down and ups, I'm trying to fix that. I want the name of the joint that I'm going to try and fix with that movement. For every one of you who gets it right, I'll do 1 push-up. No stealing people's answers. Hold it up. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 right. Hold your parts down. So what I am trying to correct there is the motion of the hip. Okay, for the reason of when someone does a snatch, I don't want the hips to go back and forth. If the hips are going back and forth, that means the barbell is going to travel away from the body. I don't want the barbell to go forward. I want the barbell to go up. So what I'm trying to teach someone with the down and up is that the barbell is going to leave the body when the body is shooting up, that the hips are going up. The motion of the hip should be upward, not forward. Okay? Give me 5 more down and ups with that process in mind, please. Good, and come on back. Next piece. Watch me first. After I dip down and up, at the top of that hip extension, I'm going to shrug, and then I'm going to raise my elbows. This is called elbows high and outside. I dip and pull, dip and pull, dip and pull. Please give me 10 elbows high and outside. Practice, please. Good. Once you've done that, let's come on back in here for the question. Bring your pen and paper. Now, if you saw me prescribe that drill to somebody, what would I be trying to correct? And there's a couple different answers here that I'll accept as correct because there's a couple different things. But if I said to someone, you need to practice doing pulls, what do you think I would see that I didn't like in their snatch? Sam, yes, good. Hold a little closer for me, Sarah. Yeah, good. Yeah, Karina, you got it right. You got the other correct answer. Good. Russell, you're close, but not quite there. It looks like we have there's about 9 correct ones here. So it is not technically early pull. Okay, a couple of you answered early pull, and I'm going to explain why it wouldn't be early pull. If I wanted to drill somebody for early pull, I would make that person start from one of the first pulls and just practice coming up. So they would never actually bend the elbows at all. What I'm trying to correct when somebody is pulling that bar into the second pull is keeping the bar close to the body. If I see someone pulling the bar up and that bar is coming off the body, then I want to correct that with that drill of keeping it close to the body. I just realized that I didn't do my push-ups for the first round, so I owe you guys 16 push-ups.
Chest to deck, chest to deck.
I'd like to see hand release push-ups.
Hand release. I'm going to start judging your guys' spelling then.
Single arm hand release.
All right. One more drill that we're going to go over today. The last piece is muscle snatch. So the third part of that, I dip, I come up, and now I finish. Please, give me 10 muscle snatches. And then write down, what am I trying to look for? What am I trying to drill with this movement? All the way overhead, Yako. If you can. There you go. You might have to make it a power one if you're too tall. Lock elbows close, DC. Definitely lock elbows is part of it. Alan's got it. Karina's got it. Quick turn is definitely a correct answer, Sarah, but it's not the one I'm looking for. Brendan's got it. Yeah, Sam, good. Hold it closer, Natalie. I can't see it. Keep coming. Yeah, that's good, good. Yeah, you got it. So, it looks like we have about 10 correct answers. I'm waiting for Victoria to finish hers. Yeah, finish with straight arms and no press out is definitely part of it. This is the one that I'm looking for. Go back to your stick, please, and grab onto it. And then hold it overhead. Now hold it too far back. Now hold it too far forward. Now hold it in the correct position. And slowly lower it down to touch the top of the back of your head. Now press it out again and lock out those elbows. This is what I'm trying to drill. That it is extremely important on the snatch that this position directly above the top of the back of your head, which is technically called in line with the frontal plane, is dead on every time. Some of you had different answers, no press out, locking of the elbows. Those are also correct answers, but this is the piece that I'm trying to drill with this, that when I have someone doing muscle snatches over and over, I want that positioning above the top of the back of the head to be perfect every time. Because as you've probably figured out, or as you can imagine, once you get into weighted snatches, if you're off by an inch, you're in trouble. Okay, the heavier the weight is, the less that margin of error is allowed. If you got something that's pretty light, you'll probably just fix it when you feel it off center above your head. But if it is heavy, it's not happening. That barbell is either going behind or it's coming forward, but you're going to miss that lift. Okay, 5 more muscle snatches, please. Good. I think I owe you another 10 push-ups. I'm starting to feel those. I did a lot of push-ups yesterday. All right. Next movement is the snatch balance. That movement is going to start with the barbell across the back of your shoulders. And for now, we're just going to drop into a half squat. Please give me 5 snatch balances. Once you get comfortable, you can go lower if you want. Good. Once you've done those, jot it down on a piece of paper. Why would I give somebody this drill? It's one of my favorite snatch drills to give people once they start increasing their weight. I got a feeling everybody's going to get this one. I hope they do. Chest up close there, yeah. But there's another piece I'm looking for. Knees over toes is technically part of it. Drop under bar, yeah. DC, good. Speed and fast feet. Yeah, it can be. I use a different one for speed. Speed under the bar. Get under quick. Move feet fast. Oh, so a lot of you did not actually get this one right. So come on over and let's talk about it a little bit. The snatch balance drill is primarily one that I use. It does teach speed under the bar, right? But it mostly is going to teach you perfect positioning under the bar. And what I mean by that is you're going to move your feet, you're going to extend your arms so that bar is still going to be directly above the head. And when somebody is uncomfortable catching the bar in a squat position on the snatch, 99% of the time is because something is wrong with that positioning. Either their feet are too far apart, they're starting to starfish a little bit, or they're not comfortable being in a squat, they start going into their knees, or the bar itself is too far back or too close. So that's when I would start drilling the snatch balance with an extremely light weight, just to get them used to this positioning. Because what I'm looking for is the same feet, the same knees, the same hips, the same shoulders, the same positioning of the bar. I want every piece of that to be exactly the same every time. And when I add weight, it has to maintain that consistency. It follows that pattern of mechanics, consistency, intensity. You can use it for speed under the bar, so you're not technically wrong in that sense, but mainly I'm looking for proper positioning under the bar. Please give me 5 more snatch balance. And then I want you to just stand with the bar on the back of your shoulders when you're finished. Just wait for my cue. Good. So an excellent way to determine if you are doing the snatch balance correctly and if your positioning is good, you should be able to do a snatch balance and then stand without changing your foot position and do a complete overhead squat from that position without having to move your feet. So what I want you to do is 2 snatch balances and then 2 overhead squats without moving your feet after the last snatch balance. If that squat felt weird, if it didn't feel like your natural overhead squat position, then that might be a drill that will really help you with that. Good, awesome. So last one, I want you to just start putting this all together now. We're going to start today just from the hip position where we do the down and up. And I want you to give me an extreme slow motion hang, just from the hips though, high hang, snatch. So you're going to dip, up, catch, stand, okay? You're gonna do 5 and you're gonna increase in speed on each one. Go ahead, do them at your own pace. Start in slow motion to think about each piece. Make sure you move your feet, Alan. Think about the hips going straight down, straight up. Think about the bar path, squeezing your butt before the elbows go high and outside. Think about the overhead position being perfectly on that frontal plane. Good. Great job, folks. Awesome. Good. Throw your bar to the side and come on over to the screen. I didn't count how many people got the last one right, but I'll do 10 more push-ups just because you guys did really great today. Okay. Come to the screen where I can see your arms. And I talked about this last time. Proper elbow position in the push-up. Show me a tricep push-up. What would your arms look like? Good. That's nice and close. Now show me chest position. So if you're working on a chest, yeah, 45 degrees is the angle you're looking for, right? Now show me injured shoulder position. Good. Yeah, injured shoulder. Keep the elbows close, no flared elbows. Hold your hand up on the screen like this. Point at the area of the palm you should be applying the most pressure. The outside of the palm. Okay? For a reason of, if you're trying to screw your hands, hold your hands up. And if you're trying to screw your hands into the ground by making your thumbs come in, it's going to give you proper shoulders. You can even feel it when you hold your hands like that and then turn them out, how your shoulders sink into those sockets. Okay? The shoulder is a ball and socket joint, and when you turn it and externally rotate that shoulder, it creates torque and more friction, and it gives you a much more stable joint. It's the same thing we do with our hips when we turn our feet out. We try and split the floor with our feet to get our nice tight hip motion. Same thing on the shoulder, okay? So turn that position. The workout we are doing today, how many of you did it last time? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. It is a 10-minute EMOM of push-ups. And the idea behind this workout is for you to find a consistent push-up that you can do every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. Hi, kitty. I love it when the pets jump in and decide, who's this guy talking over here? So I want you to show me with your fingers how many you did last time. Your worst round. The worst round. Did you get 12 last time, DC? Nice. Okay. So I'm not going to ask you how many you're shooting for this time, but if you managed to complete your goal last time without having to drop the number considerably, then I would like you to try and pick one higher maybe this time, one more this time, and see if you can maintain that. If your goal plummeted by more than 3 last time, then I want you to reconsider what would be an appropriate push-up for today. If your goal only plummeted by 1, like if you started at 7 but you ended up at 6, then I want you to shoot for 7 again. Make sense? Does anybody, if you have any questions, now's the time to unmute and ask. If you're not sure how many you should do, you can also ask me that.
Is it unbroken? Like how many unbroken?
No.
And then, okay, what is it?
So it's just within the minute. So for example, if I was shooting for 10 and I did 5 in the first 30 seconds and 5 in the next 30 seconds, that's legit, that counts. Any other questions?
Should we stop and have a rest before the next?
Wouldn't.
No, okay.
No, if I'm doing this workout, I want as much recovery as possible. If on the very last minute, I might stretch it out because I know there's not another minute following, and that's just good strategy. But otherwise, I want to get it done and over with as fast as I can and try recover. Any other questions? No, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. Okay. Russell, you guys good? Vanessa? All right, all right, all right. Okay. We are starting in 10 seconds. If you got music you want to play, you go ahead and play it. Listen for my count, I'll call it out. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Round 1. That is the 30-second mark. Halfway there. Once we're back in the gym, which hopefully isn't too late for too much longer, if any of you ever have any questions about snatch and technique that you want to ask me, feel free to grab me whenever you see me wandering around or whatever, and I'd be more than happy to help with any positioning or drills in that sense. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Keep your core nice and tight on these, nice stiff body. I don't want nobody's got the saggy horse back, right? I would take 3 perfect push-ups over 5 disjointed ones. You know what I mean? Halfway there. If any of you are having shoulder issues where you feel like your shoulders are too taxed, too sore today, and you want to switch up to sit-ups for today, you go ahead, okay? I don't want anybody overdoing it. I know there's only so many body weight things you can do in these WODs, and if someone feels like their shoulders getting taxed, you go ahead and sub out the movement. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Squeeze the core as you press. Good. I did this one down at the track yesterday. People looking at me like I was nuts. Leah and I go down to the Poirier track and run and just do WODs down there. Sometimes we call it our yard time. We've been referring each other to it. She's my cellmate. She's my cellie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 4. Halfway there. It's going to be some jack chest when we get back to the gym. Seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Halfway there. I definitely do try and keep my elbow as much above the wrist as possible, just to keep the pain off the wrist or the pressure off of there. And for most people, that's hands a little lower than they expect. I do that because it translates better to ring dips and a lot of other gymnastic movements where you're in a pushing position. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Halfway there. Halfway. Sarah, do you know what we're playing tonight? You coming tonight?
I don't know what we're playing. I think Wednesday's usually charades.
Charades, maybe? Yeah.
That's what Errol's, if Errol's in charge, that's probably what it is.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. We played that Jack in the Box games, Karina. 3, 2, 1, go. Round 7. Yeah, it was really fun. Breathe out, squeeze the core as they start to get tired. You need to squeeze out a couple more, just like a bench press. Take that big breath in at the top, lower yourself down, breathe out, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, drive. Shake those shoulders out after you finish your set. Sam, your shoulders bugging you? Okay. When we get to the next part, the core stuff, I'm going to give you a different exercise because you're doing sit-ups now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Round 8. Keep those elbows close to the body. No flaring out here. Let's go, Derek. You got this, buddy.
Halfway there.
Shake them out.
Ten seconds.
2 more rounds. 2 more rounds. You got this. Go. When I break, I never try and rest in the bottom. I want some elasticity out of those muscles. So I always try and rest at the top, lower myself down and up. I bounce my chest off that ground. I take a big breath in, down, boom, and try pop right back up.
Halfway there.
If you need a break, shake your shoulders out if you need to.
Ten seconds.
10 seconds. Last round coming up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round.
Last round.
This is recordable on Wodify. I believe it was called a push-up progression. If you're looking for to save it in case we ever do it in the gym, which we probably will. Last round, you can break it up if you need to. Try keep that pace.
Halfway there.
Halfway there.
Ten seconds.
10 seconds. Get those last couple if you got one more. 3, 2, 1. Time.
Well done.
Well done. Beastly. So Sam, when we do the hollow rocks, because you basically just did a whole bunch of core stuff, I want you to use that blue kettlebell that I saw beside you there, and you're going to do 1 minute of slow Romanian deadlifts with it, okay? You're going to do a Romanian deadlift, so 2 hands on the kettlebell, just slow down, stand, squeeze, okay? Just doing a deadlift with it for that position. For the rest of us, I'll give you a couple seconds here to grab a drink and recover, and we have a little bit of a core finisher at the end of today. How'd it feel? Feel good? How was it? Anybody do better than last time? Nice. Good. So like I mentioned, that if you dig deep into Wodify there is a score for this. It's either called push-up progression or 10-minute EMOM push-ups, something like that. If you can't find it, you can message me and I'll try and track it down for you. But it is, because it was definitely something that we did once a week for 4 weeks, probably a couple years ago now. I don't remember exactly, but all right. So one last piece that we're going to do today, it's going to be 1 minute worth of hollow rocks, and then it is 1 minute rest, and then 1 minute worth of hollow rocks again. And this is, if you recorded this from last time, it is a core challenge that I throw once in a while, but mainly I'm just looking for you to do a whole bunch of core stuff. Summer's coming, abs of steel. Hopefully we'll be outdoors at least on a beach. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. Okay, so what I do want you thinking about on these hollow rocks today is 1, tucking the ribs, which I've discussed before, and tilting the pelvis up. Okay, there should be no arch in the back. The back should be rounded. Okay, you should be like a canoe, not like a, I don't even know what you would describe it, a speed bump. Okay, if you feel you can't maintain that position, I want you to pull one knee to your chest, because that will help keep that position. But if you are pulling a knee to the chest, at some point switch to the other leg. The leg that is extended should be flexed and toes pointed, as if you're being judged on how pretty it looks. Okay. All right. Is everybody ready? Okay, we are starting in 10 seconds. 1 minute hollow rocks, 1 minute rest. And go. Think about your lats being engaged. Make sure the arms are involved. Head to toe, one muscle from head to toe. If you're pulling a knee in, I want you squeezing the core like you're doing a crunch. I want to build strength in that area. Halfway.
there.
Get a few more. You can go back in. You can join back in. Squeeze the core.
Ten seconds.
10 seconds. Other leg is flexed and pointed. Rest. 1 minute rest.
Hey, Aaron.
Yep.
Back and forth is considered one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hollow position and a strong hollow position translates to a ton of different gymnastic movements. If you have a strong hollow position on the bar for toes to bar, for a swing and a muscle up, for kipping pull-ups, butterfly pull-ups, any of those ones, don't go yet, Mario. Still on rest, buddy. That's why it's super important to have a really strong position there.
10 seconds.
10 seconds till the second round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Straight knees if you can. Straighten those legs. Good.
Halfway there.
Halfway. Stiff from head to toe. It doesn't have to be a super huge, big swing. It can be a very shallow swing. Right? The rock can be very shallow as long as the positioning is good.
10 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Awesome. Great job, folks. Come on over to your screen while you're cooling down here for a minute. I want to talk about core strength just a tiny bit. So a lot of times you will see non-CrossFitters mostly who haven't been educated to it or known about it. People will do sit-ups with the intention of building abdominal muscles or core strength. Google is talking from the bathroom about how to perform a proper sit-up. That's crazy. One of the reasons why I like the hollow position a lot better than I like the standard sit-up position is I want you to imagine that between your rib bones and your hip bones, okay, in your core area, there is no really other bones aside from the spine. And the spine is clearly not strong enough to support your upper torso, head, shoulders, and everything else. That if you didn't have a strong core muscle, you would literally just flop over. So the true power, the true strength of the core isn't necessarily doing a sit-up where you bend at the hips. It is maintaining position. That the core is much stronger. Its real job is to keep you upright. And the way that you tax that position is by even just leaning back. Just lean back where you're at right now, and you'll feel the core engage right away. Because the core's main job is to just keep you on that straight axis. As soon as that axis starts to bend either way, the core starts to lose its power. So when I'm building core strength or testing core strength, what I'm really trying to do is put you in a position like the hollow where you could be literally 1 inch from the ground, and how long can you hold that position? Okay. The hollow rock just makes it dynamic. When you're doing the hollow hold, you could literally be leaning off the back of a 20-story building, and your body, if you've ever seen Rocky do it on the ring, your body is just trying to hold position. So when you're working on core strength, I'm much more inclined to think of how can I make you keep that position than how much sit-up power I can do. So if you are trying to develop core strength, I like sit-ups, but they're a lot more hip flexor, and there's a lot more back muscles involved in flexion of the hip, compared to building core strength is actually just trying to force you to hold a position either forward or backward. Okay. Any questions on today? Anything from today? Go ahead and unmute yourself and look for some feedback on how things went today.
When I'm tired, I can only do like 4 push-ups before needing a rest.
Yes.
So I should have just done like 1 push-up every 7 seconds for the whole 10 minutes or something to get a higher score. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd get we can try that next time. I don't know if it'll get a higher score. The fatigue does start to kick in. It's weird. Lats and chest are a weird muscle where if you're doing squats, the quads start to burn. You feel it. You're skipping, your calves start to get tired and they start to swell up. The chest and the lats, they just shut up. They just stop. They go 1, 2, and it's just, that's it. You don't know when it's coming. It just instantly goes, nope, that's all you got, buddy. And it wants you to actually stop before it'll reset and try to fire again. Lats are the same way. When you're doing pull-ups, especially strict ones, you get to a certain point and it just turns off. It just goes, nope, that's all you've got, right? You can try going straight through for 10 minutes and do 1 every 7 seconds and see if you get a better number. I'd be curious to see what the result is at.
I find it easier if I do a hand release push-up.
Yes?
Yeah, me too.
It sort of gives a little bit of a, I don't know, reprieve on the muscle, and then I'm good to go again.
Yeah, for myself, I don't. I'm always trying to, and I mentioned it in the middle of the WOD there, that I always like to, if I'm going to rest, I want to come right off the shoulders and shake them out. I want no tension on the shoulder at all. And when I go down, I'm creating this line of tension through the body where I'll take a big breath in and I'll try to almost bounce, where I'm using a little bit of the elasticity of the shoulder muscle to try and drive back up. In the same way that if you do a squat very slow, it's harder than if you do if you try to bounce out of that squat. So if that's the way that you've always done them, then I could see that that's what your muscles are conditioned to. That would be something on the flip side of it. And you do, like you mentioned, you get that little break in there for a second,
Yeah.
right? Only thing I would look for when someone does that is, are they maintaining position? Because if you come down into a hand release and you let go and your shoulders drive up first before, say, the center of your back, that's what I'd be looking for. I wouldn't want to see someone arch up shoulders first before the hips started to rise. If you could keep the hips and shoulders in line, then I would like that push up a lot. Any other questions or comments?
I think the bar. Go ahead.
I like the repeated workout. Like, that's the 3rd time that we've done it. I know I didn't do it this time, but the last 2 times, like, I tried to go higher and got it.
Yeah.
So nice to have the same ones.
Yeah, because I kept seeing a lot of the same faces, so I am trying to definitely build, especially with the snatch stuff. I'm trying to build on that. Like, being able to do any kind of Olympic lifting while we're in this situation is super difficult because you don't have access. You can't actually do Olympic lifting unless you have a home gym. But hopefully doing that piece there can teach you guys some of the technique that when you come back to the barbell and you start doing snatches again, you can start to implement some of the stuff that we've worked on with the dowel, right? You can't underestimate how.
I'm the push-up workout.
Push-up one, yeah?
Time it's been in. And
Do
I
you guys
didn't.
want to do it? Do you want to do it one more time?
Yes.
Like if I put it in next week?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So yeah, I don't want to, get you guys to get sick of it, but I do love it as a test. And then I'll try and switch it up. For those of you coming tomorrow, I am going to do probably a little bit more sweaty interval-based stuff tomorrow. That's what I've been trying to do when it's my 2 days, is one technique and strength, and then one, let's get our heart rate up, let's get sweaty. So awesome. All right, bring your hands in, folks. Let's wrap this up. Bring them up. Unmute yourself. Victoria, you there? If you're busy, it's okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Great job today, folks. Real happy
Thanks,
with the Snatch stuff.
Thank you.
See you all tomorrow.